Jesus said to his disciples, "There will be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars." On earth, nations in agony, bewildered by the clamor of the oceans and its waves. Men dying of fear as they await what menaces the world, for the powers of heaven will be shaken. And then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. When these things begin to take place, stand erect, hold your heads high, because your liberation is near at hand. Watch yourselves, or your hearts will be coarsened with debauchery and drunkenness and the cares of life, and that day will be sprung on you suddenly like a trap. For it will come down on every living man on the face of the earth. Stay awake, praying at all times for the strength to survive all that is going to happen, and to stand with confidence before the Son of Man. A long time ago, when there were more people working the land and fewer machines, 3 friends were harvesting in the fields. Come lunchtime, they stopped work and settled down and began to unwrap their sandwiches. The 2 older men started eating, but the boy closed his eyes, bowed his head, and gave thanks for the meager meal that lay before him. When he finished praying, he opened his eyes, and his sandwich was gone. The dog had eaten it. One of the others said to the boy, "Yes, it's good to pray, but you've got to keep watch." That's very much the theme of Advent, watching and waiting in prayer. Prayer is always a characteristic of our lives as Christians, but during Advent especially, it's a time of prayerful preparation for Christmas, a time for prayerful reflection on what it is that we celebrate at Christmas, of Christ's coming into the world. Not just the first coming with his birth, but also reflecting on the promised second coming and what that might mean for us. We're invited to think a little more about what it is that we celebrate in a few weeks' time, what it means to each of us, how we are different because of it. And while prayer is good, is an essential part of our Advent journey, of our preparation for any meaningful celebration of Christmas, this is also a time for watching. Christ doesn't come into our lives at Christmas as if he isn't already a part of them, as if he doesn't have a part to play in our lives each day, every day, not just on special occasions. Advent is not only a time for prayerful waiting, but also for prayerful watching. Watching for the Christ who came into our world once 2,000 years ago, and whose return we await for, but who is also present each day of our lives. Advent is a time for looking for the signs of that presence, for trying to see Christ in the people around us and the situations we find ourselves in, to see in others the influence of Christ's presence, to strive to recognize how their lives are different because Christ is a part of them. I don't know what part faith plays in the life of Kevin Sinfield and Rob Burrows, but I witnessed a great expression of love and courage and self-sacrifice earlier this week, as Kevin Sinfield completed his most recent task in the support of those, including his friend Rob, who suffer from MND. Kevin ran 101 miles in 24 hours. But the challenge and the success wasn't only his. Others shared in that sacrifice, those who ran and cycled with him, those who supported him all the way, those who contributed to the charity which he was trying to raise money for, those who expressed affection, love for Rob, for other sufferers with MND, for those who worked tirelessly to bring them help and comfort. No, Christ was part of that. The better we understand how we and our world are different because Christ is a part of them, the more complete our celebration of Christmas will be. The more authentic our joy, the deeper our sense of peace, and perhaps the more generous our sharing, not of gifts, but of ourselves.